And in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, Ted, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one from me, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, Ted, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one from me, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
Hello all and welcome back here in the WHF Season 7. I'm your host for this evening, WHF. Welcome all back to the Tier 1 season. We're here for a bit of a spicy return to the racing action. It'll be Austria reversed, which is going to be one of the first times we've done a reverse track on this game. I think it is actually the first time we have had a reverse track on one of the league races. So welcome in one and all. Hope you're all doing well as we get ready for a bit of short qualifying followed by a full race. But I'll minimize OBS because I feel like it's making my stream lag a bit. Hopefully that has fixed it, but let me know if the stream's laggy at all. and I'll have to fix that. But welcome in, one and all. As we'll go on board with Ty Clear. He'll be the first driver on a lap here to start the Tier 1 season here in Season 7. Cookie won the championship last time out with Red Bull. And streams too smooth. On my second monitor it seems very laggy, so maybe it's just my POV. But Ty Clear, first around on a lap here, heading through the middle sector. Although he doesn't seem to be burning the battery, so I wonder is he just burning off some extra fuel before he goes again. We'll go on board with Rio invalid on his run. Who is out on a lap behind Ho-Chin, running wide. Gordon in the Sauber out on a lap. A Ferrari of Himmy Dimes up the road ahead of him. But I think we'll go on board with Cookie, the driver to watch this season. 6-time champion in WHF and SSR. And Cookie on his first lap here in Season 7. Will he look to retain his title and become a 7-time champion here in the 14th season of this league? As Nuki in the chat says, me bomba, and that is an inside joke, as Aston, D Summers says, up the Astons, and as he says up the Astons, Ty Clear sets a 6-1 as his first banker lap time. Meanwhile, Cintrix returning to WHF after many seasons off. Former Tier 2 runner-up goes to first with a 4-5. Meanwhile, the Ferrari of Himmy Dimes with a 4-1 crosses the line quickest, as Cookie now rounding the final corner. Bit of a Ferrari in his way, but maybe giving him a little tow, as Cookie does a 3-8 with a Williams crossing the line in behind him. Meanwhile, we've got his team Get On Xbox in behind as well. Anyone else close to finishing a lap? TJ, former Tier 2 runner-up as well, had a... Oh, my controller's disconnected. That's helpful. As TJ, former runner-up, with a 4-3, 2/10 shy of the Ferrari of Himmy Dimes. As DZ Racer is cooking, and that is what he tends to do here in WHF, as Himmy Dimes goes all the way up to... as Get On Xbox up to third. Brilliant performance there from the Red Bull driver, as Rio Harris into second, as Mallard seems to have backed out of this lap. We've got Julian Kalantovic, who's backing out of this lap. Ollie Bean invalid. Ho-Chin reserving for Williams today, out on a flyer. As through the final corner, Ho-Chin now. DRS engaged, and across the line up to P6 goes the Williams driver. Stephen Beecham next around in the Ferrari. And up to P11, that's just a banker lap. As Ollie Bean, Tier 2 driver, and was involved in the wars last time out in Bahrain yesterday. Big crashes between him and Scones, and I think a Mercedes driver is involved as well. And that clip will find its way onto TikTok in the near future, and it's a very funny one. So you have that to look forward to. Meanwhile, Ollie Bean charges down to the final corner. Can he keep it valid here for Aston Martin, reserving for Tier 1 today? And he will keep it valid. And where can Ollie Bean go as he rounds the final corner and up to the line? Ollie Bean goes P11. We've got Nasev out there, purple in the middle sector. We've got Echo on a lap. Kalantovic is heading through the hairpin, and now trying to get the power planted down the hill into the very fast final corner here. And Julian is a debutant here in round 1, and he had a very quick sign-up time. So can Julian be one of the drivers to watch potentially here, as Julian up to the line and goes quickest with a 3-7. And I did mention he is one of the drivers to watch, and could he be one of the favourites this season, as Nis up to the line? He's also looking to be one of the favourites, and a 3-5 for Nis. Strong start to this qualifying session. He's got his new teammate of Trixie, who's just joined the Discord today, and what can Trixie do? As he's going to get a little bit of a tow from the Aston up ahead, and Trixie could be looking to join his V-Carb teammate on the front row of the grid. Could Trixie potentially be one of the quick drivers here in this. Here's Trixie up to the line. Where can he go? Up to P2, and it's a V-Carb. 1-2. V-Carb absolutely loving life out here so far on in this qualifying session. They're absolutely gleeful. V-Carb going to be looked to be the team to beat here in Tier 1. As Stephen Beecham on an in lap. Anyone else out there on out lap? I think Echo on an in. But very close up at the top. That top 4 is going to be one to watch for the season for sure. As Stephen Beecham into the box. Mallard and Godzilla yet to set laps for their teams. Mallard in Williams along with Hochin, and Hochin reserving for Star today, who's missing out on this one. He's at work. I know Cookie is out in track cooking, but Star is in real life cooking because that's what he does for work. But we will see Star next time out as Tier 1 heads to... let me check here in the calendar where they head to. I think it might be Silverstone. Or that might be Tier 2. No, it's Singapore next time out. One of Rio's personal favourites. And as... apologies, Craig, you've put in the yippee, and I keep forgetting to put the sound rates on. One day my memory will work, but it is not this day. But here we are. Sound alert should work now as we watch Mallard cross the line, and Mallard up to P16. As we'll try and minimise that. Mallard into P16. Godzilla just half a tenth shy in P17. Gordon yet to set a lap here. Ollie Bean in, reserving in for the day. Down the order a bit as Cintrix a tenth to the good. TJ just starting his lap. Will stay on board with McLaren, who's currently a tenth to the good. That would put him ahead of Michael Lloyd, but he needs an extra tenth if he wants to get ahead of the likes of Hochin and TJ. As Ledgeman says, Williams might be in the bin. I mean, Hochin's up in P10. I would not say that. Hochin's in a very good position. With a very good lap time with a 4.3. And Cintrix now rounding the final corner, loose on the rear as the McLaren driver charges the line. Where can he go in? The McLaren does improve by, it said 2 tenths. I don't, was it 2 tenths? I think maybe, I admit it was. 2 tenths for Cintrix, and that puts him ahead of Hochin into P10. Meanwhile, TJ in P9 currently. Where can TJ go as he rounds the final corner? Currently a tenth to the good. That would put him ahead of Echo, but can he get ahead of the likes of Get On Xbox or Himmy Dimes? And he doesn't improve. Must have made a mistake out of the final corner. Hochin's invalid. We've seen Himmy Dimes improve there to P5. Gets ahead of Rio Harris in what seems to be a very competitive field here in Tier 1 as Thori. As Star says they can have their fun now. Calma. As Thori invalid. Mallard out on another lap. Ollie being invalid again, probably through turn 1. Ty Clear, 2 tenths to the good. That would put him ahead of Steven as things stand. But can he get any more time out of this lap? As Steven just ahead of him by half a tenth. These two were former rivals. And I don't know if you can hear the sound alerts, but I can't. I mean, are the sound alerts coming up? I'm confused. Are they coming up? I can't quite tell. Maybe they didn't come up correctly. Let me try to add them again. Yeah, I think that should fix it. Apologies for anyone who used sound alerts and they were not working. But Ty Clear does improve by half a second up to P13. Big improvement there from Ty Clear. Who else is out on a lap? Rio, invalid. Hemi going for an extra out lap. Cookie looks to be going for an extra out lap. Julian goes a little wide of Apex 1, a little wide of Apex 2, but normally you kind of do want to stay as far away as you can from that second curb. As he heads through the middle sector, gets good sharp turn in on the front end as he heads through the middle sector now. We've also got Nis out there, Nis on a lap, although he's just starting behind.
Here we go. Money talk.
Oh my god!
Dollar.
Racer. Dear Lord, 5 gifted subs from DZ Racer. What absolute scenes, DZ Racer. Thank you so much. That is massive. I was not expecting that. As Julian has backed out of his lap, will go on board with Nis. And oh my lord, that was very loud. But Nis now currently almost a tenth to the good. And Nis looking to snatch pole here. And you're absolutely right, lads. DZ is paying the bills here in WHF. As Nis now coming up to the line. Where can he go? It's a 1-3-4-5. And a tenth and a half to his teammate, who Trixie is still improving as he rounds the final corner. And Trixie up to the line, but Cookie with a 3-3 out of nowhere. Cookie crosses the line.
Please, we're in amongst the pack.
As thank you for the bits, Craig. Thank you, DZ Racer, as Rio's around in the middle sector. And Rio, as Echo improves to P7, get on Xbox out in a lap there. But this has been a dramatic qualifying so far. But thank you. We've got a level 2 hype train, which I've not seen in quite some time. But thank you for all the subs and the bits from Craig, the subs from DZ Racer. Thank you for helping us pay our commentators here. Absolute legend. DZ Racer had pole last time out in Bahrain Tier 2. Looking forward to seeing how he can get on in the Tier 2 Championship. Yippee! As Get On Xbox now heading through the hairpin. And there's a lot of battery to use, with Cookie giving him a lovely toe here potentially. Although possibly ended the toe a bit too early. Maybe Cookie wants to go for another lap, or he's just on a slow in lap.
Hammond! You moron!
And Hammond is a moron, as Gordon now out on a lap here, out on the mediums, huh? He's found a 10th in the middle sector on the medium tyres. I'm not quite sure how this works, but it's working for Gordon. And with 4 minutes remaining left in the session, can Gordon set a quicker time on the mediums? This would be very impressive if he does. I'd be very surprised if he pulls this one off. As I'll just make sure I have the right chat up on Discord so I could make sure everyone gets in. As Gordon into the pit lane. We've got TJ out there on a lap.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
But for any of you that are new in here, please drop a follow. We are 7 followers away from 1,000 followers on Twitch. We're almost there. Although TJ seems to be doing an extra outlap, so we'll keep on board with someone who's actually about to start a lap. Ollie Bean, the Tier 2 driver, currently down in P19. But welcome one and all into the stream. As Ollie Bean will start this lap, we will head on board with the Aston Martin driver. Reserving for Aston Martin today with Berlin missing out. And can Ollie Bean try and improve? Currently just 100th off Codzilla, who's also reserving for Alpine today, but they're not far off Mallard in the Williams. And Ollie Bean invalid as Centrix out in a lap, TJ just starting a lap, but it will be either Hochin or Centrix next around. Centrix opening the DRS and a 10th to the good. That could be big here in Austria. In Austria, the qualifying times are so close, and improving even by a 10th can gain you multiple positions. And a very lovely run through the final corner. Where can the McLaren driver go as he crosses the line and improves by a 10th and a half and gets ahead of Michael Louis and TJ. TJ though improving yet again, and the Mercedes going to try and get into the top 10 if he can, as the Mercedes driver rounding the final corner and up to the line. Where can TJ go? Does improve by half a 10th, but does not improve on position. Ollie Bean 2 tenths to the good here. I think he's gone for a proper push now in this run, as Thori starting a lap as well. Michael Louis retires in the pit lane. Anyone else there out on a lap? Who's closest to start finishing a lap? I think it is Ollie Bean who will be the next around. As DZ Racer says, another 5 gifts if Cookie wins the race. Well, Normally I don't root for Cookie, but I think times have changed. I am a man who can definitely be paid off if need be. As Ollie Bean rounding the final corner. DRS open for the Aston Martin reserve today, and where can he go? As he does improve the P17. A reminder for all of you that are new in the chat here. Points go down to P16 as Stephen Beecham makes a big error at turn 1. It seems, or maybe he's getting out of the way of someone in behind. Maybe Echo starting a lap. As Rio on a lap here getting blocked by one of the V-carbs. Although Rio is invalid on his lap. As Hochin starting a lap. Hochin in P5, dearie me. What the helly? As Cookie starting his lap makes a big error to the final corner though. Will that cost his run as Niss almost makes an error through the middle sector? We'll stay with Niss to see can he snatch pole. He's 600ths away from Cookie. And can Niss improve here on this run as Cookie made a mistake starting his lap, so may not improve, but we have watched Cookie for many years. Even with some mistakes, he can still pull something out of the bag. The checkered flag falls. Niss, we're on board with. Can he snatch pole here? As he charges down, he's a 10th and a half to the good. Can Niss snatch it here as he is going to round the final corner? How much margin does he want to take through the final corner? It's a lovely run through the final corner as he charges to the line. And Niss, as he crosses the line, it's a 3.38 2/1000s. Separate them as Cookie leaves the track and he's lost all the time. And I think Niss may have snatched it by 3/1000ths of a second. Meanwhile, Rio Harris, 4/10ths to the good. Where did he find this time? Hemi Dimes is retired in the pit lane. Rio wheel flicking through the final corner. What? Where will Rio go if he's up by 4/10ths as Rio crosses the line? Up to P3, gets ahead of Trixie. Massive improvements by Rio there. Trixie attempted after the good. Trixie's on pole! Trixie's on pole on debut for V-Carb. Absolutely brilliant qualifying session there. Trixie on pole. And it's a V-Carb 1-2. Unbelievable scenes there. Trixie on pole. I cannot believe that. Trixie joins, snatches poles away. Absolute scenes. Unbelievable. Look how close the qualifying times are. And Hochin, who, need I remind you, was in Tier 3 on Friday. I feel like, Hochin, your days in Tier 3 are numbered after qualifying that high up in Tier 1. And let me tell the drivers when they're ready up. Hopefully no one readies up early before I get the message in. But hopefully we can get all the drivers in as... or not even in, but what the hell is happening here? As we will soon have the 5 red lights on. Now's your opportunity to get a drink, some popcorn for what is going to be a barn burner race. Absolutely sensational qualifying there from V-Carb. A V-Carb 1-2 to start the season. And Cookie, the 6-time champion, starting down in P3. As
no heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
Thank you for the 2 bits, Nuki. Welcome one and all to the stream. If you haven't followed yet, please do. We're 7 followers away from 1,000 followers on Twitch. Oh, Ledgeman says Hochin is on pad this race. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yes, I get you now. Okay, Hochin was quick. Hochin was Tier 1 pace on pad, a bit like myself, but he has swapped a wheel, so that's a bit more understandable. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. But welcome in one and all. Hope you're enjoying the race. I was wondering why Hochin had found so much pace. That was a bit ridiculous, but we will see as time progresses. There's a minute left before the driver's ready up. Who will win? This could go anyway. I honestly, normally I can give you a bit of a guess, but I don't know. But what I can certainly tell you is the V-Carbs 1-2, they will try and work together here to try and score the maximum points for V-Carb. And Trixie has been quite a signing for Nis and his V-Carb team here. RB looking to dominate Tier 1, but qualifying is one thing, the race is another. And Cookie has been a bit of a race merchant over his SSR and WHF career, it's safe to say. No matter where he qualifies, he always seems to end up winning. But here in Season 7, will the crown be handed over to someone else? Will the baton be passed on to another driver? Will we see a different champion here since Season 4? We will wait and see. Cookie won Season 5 and 6. And will he win Season 7 here? We will wait and see. Or will it be a new driver on the top step of the podium? It is going to be an exciting one. Qualifying was so close there in the season opener. And as we get ready for 36 laps around the Spielberg circuit here in Austria, who will win? As my controller keeps disconnecting, I'm gonna just say no to using the controller, because God, it just keeps disconnecting randomly. Not sure why. But we will have the 5 red lights on here in Austria. And it's lights out and away we go. Ness has got a brilliant start. Trixie may lose the lead off the start here. And Cookie going to look to follow him through potentially as we head up into turn 1. V-Carb side by side as Cookie makes a big mistake. And there's 3 wide Haas's involved. And Ho-Chin off in the wall. Ho-Chin's off. What a major crash at the very start of the race. Cars absolutely everywhere. It's surely a safety car. It's a VSC. Oh my lord! Williams out of the race just like they were in Bahrain. Through turn 2. Oh my lord! Absolutely chaotic start there. Oh my lord. Julian, I think, has survived damage. Who's got damage? I feel like both McLarens got damage there. Cintrix and Echo. Echo's down a P17. And a major crash there through turn 2. And the camera angle we got on that was a bit insane. Mercedes and Red Bull seems to have survived. We've gone green flag racing. Rio's got a brilliant restart. Rio got ahead of Cookie. Rio ahead of Trixie. Rio on the outside of this as we head through the final corner. Rio with a major restart. What a restart from Rio in the Mercedes, looking on the rear of this into turn 1. Will Rio go for the move into turn 1? Rio's going to dive it on the inside of this at turn 1. Just about survives. Trixie leaves the track. What race have you had at the start of your Tier 1? Get on Xbox in Red Bull. Up in the P5. He's having a brilliant start in his debut. But this has been a mental start to the season already. We're only on lap 2. Get on Xbox on the rear of his teammate Cookie. Cookie all over the rear of Rio Haas at the start here. And will Trixie look for a move? On the rear of Rio. Rio defends it off, but can he stay with this? Has the DRS been enabled here? It'd be great if we could see behind us, and it has been. Will Trixie go for the move? Into the hairpin on Rio. Onto the rear, almost into the rear of the Mercedes driver. Cookie right on the rear of this battle. But Nis may have already dropped Rio out of DRS range. Nis showing mega pace here like he has all throughout last season. Had 4 wins last season, and will he continue those winning ways here as Trixie on the rear of Rio, but Rio with DRS back on the rear. Julian now on the rear of Cookie, on the rear of Get on Xbox, gonna try and find a way through. Ollie Bean up in the P12. I mean, Gordon gets back ahead of him, but Ollie Bean major positions gained here at the start. Cintrix I think has survived without damage. We're going to get the tyre graphic up to see what everyone's going for. Mediums for everyone except for Cintrix, Codzilla and Thori. I think Echo might have picked up damage there as Cintrix around. Cintrix unfortunately around. Not the ideal return to WHF for Cintrix. Makes a mistake. Echo still carrying damage there from lap 1. As Ollie Bean dropping off the back from Gordon. Is Gordon going to try and get back involved here? We got Trixie back on the rear of Rio Harris. Get on Xbox goes wide. Julian back on the rear of Get on Xbox. Trixie on the outside now. He gets through on Rio as the V-Carbs are going to look to work together here, I assume. and try and win this for V-Carb, get a 1-2 here. Meanwhile, Ty clear on the outside of Godzilla, and Ty through. Into P13, the Aston Martins have found each other on track, and they may work together to make their way up in the field. Meanwhile, Get on Xbox, the first driver to pick up a penalty here in this race as he tries to stick with Cookie, which is never an easy job, but the top four here seem absolutely rapid here in Tier 1. Rio had a beautiful restart under the VSC, almost had the lead, but now down in P3, it seems like he's struggling the most out of this top four. Trixie trying to hold on to Nis, and if Nis is smart, he'll keep Trixie with him so that it makes their life a little bit more difficult into making a move happen. Meanwhile, Cookie on the rear of Rio. These two have had clashes in the past. Last season especially had a big coming together in Hungary as TJ getting through on Stephen Beecham with the hairpin, and Stephen makes a mistake, and off the track, off in the gravel, Centrix making another mistake there. But Stephen losing another position there. Maybe had contact with TJ at the hairpin, or maybe just went wide at the hairpin that invited TJ through. But a mega battle here at the start of Tier 1, and this is exactly the kind of thrilling action we wanted to see this season, as Cookie now closing up to the rear of Rio, but Rio holding on. But can Cookie go for an opportunistic move on the rear of the Mercedes? He's really pressuring the Mercedes through the middle sector as the Mercedes has a little wobble. Will Cookie go for a dive bomb here? No. Thinks better of it. Cookie now. Can he get the exit and go for a dive bomb into the hairpin? Rio gonna try and stick with Trixie. Cookie charging on the rear of Rio Harris. Thank you for the rain scones as Cookie down the inside of Rio. Beautiful move from the reigning champion as Rio looking for the switchback. Get on Xbox in the wall along with Julian as Get on Xbox resets the track, which is a 20-second time penalty. Thank you for the rain scones as we join in some utter carnage there on board with Get on Xbox and Julian. And Get on Xbox unfortunately going to have a big penalty after the race with that reset to track as Ollie Bean and Julian go side by side through the final corner. Julian carrying some damage here as he tries to get back through again on Ollie Bean in the Aston. But some major drama here as Ollie Bean round the outside of Julian. Side by side they go again. Ty's watching this battle in behind. Julian still battling with Ollie Bean, who washes out wide. Julian back through on Ollie Bean as Ollie Bean trying to pressurise the Haas driver. And will he be struggling with front end grip? And Julian off the track again. Gordon off the track, off in the grass. What drama have we been seeing here? And it is absolutely right, it is Fa as Gordon off the track. Ty and Ollie Bean work together as they get ahead of Julian Kaliantovic as Cookie has got ahead of Trixie through the hairpin. And for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me to swap on board there as Ty Clear gets through on Ollie Bean. As on the inside, Julian's completely killed Ollie Bean. Oh, he's completely missed his breaking point there, and Julian into the side of Ollie Bean. Meanwhile, Cookie on the rear of Nasev into turn one, side by side they go. Yellow flag on Cookie. Hits the rear of Nis. Did he get some damage? I think he's avoided damage just about, but big contact with the V-Carb and the Red Bull. But these drivers have come to blows in the past, and yet again they resume their battle this season as Trixie with Rio on the rear. Julian retires in the pit lane after having a really awful start this race. Really not going his way and involved in a lot of drama there off the start. As Rio now on the rear of Trixie. Cookie gonna look for a move on this. Will he look for it in the hairpin? No, he's gonna be patient, but can he get the exit? Lovely rotation through the final corner. And can Cookie get ahead of this into the final corner? As he's gonna look on the outside of the V-Carb driver, and Cookie side by side with Ness, and Ness dives it on the inside. Side by side, Cookie goes with Ness, but I'm sure the stewards gonna have a look at that one after the race as Cookie gonna try and keep it out of Trixie, and he does just that as Cookie side by side with Rio. Rio gonna try and get the move on Trixie as Trixie does not get the best of runs through turn two. And Rio may have picked up a warning there. trying to find his way through on Trixie, but what an absolute cinema race it's been so far here in Tier 1. I can't even describe all the drama that's happened so far in the race, and surprisingly no safety cars despite all the drama that we've had so far in this race. Rio back on the rear of Trixie, not looking for a move is the Mercedes driver just yet. Meanwhile, Cookie back on the rear of Nis. They had a clash into the final corner, and will it happen again as Cookie on the outside of Nis? Will Nis try and dive bomb him again? No, this time Cookie keeps it ahead and stays ahead of Nis as Nis cooking the rear round the final corner.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
As Get on Xbox, the first driver into the box, going for the 2-stop is the Red Bull driver. But Nis back on the rear of Cookie. But it's a little bit like looking like Nis has got some flat spots on his tyres. As Cookie cooking the rears out of the final, out of the long left-hander. And Nis now back on the rear through the hairpin we go. And we're very close here. Cintrix involved, but unfortunately lapped on what is a very short lap here in Austria. Meanwhile, TJ in P7 now on the rear of Michael Louis. Hemi Dimes has been on his own little island here in P5. No one really close, no one really behind, but more fighting up at the front should help the Ferrari driver close back up to this battle. Meanwhile, Gordon back on the rear of Echo. Echo still carrying that early damage as I wonder, does Ollie Bean have any damage? As back on the rear, Nis on Cookie, not close enough to making a move. Gordon picks up a 3-second time penalty.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
Thank you for the bits, Scones, and also if you didn't hear earlier, thank you for the raid. I did say, but not quite sure if you heard. But Nis struggling to get the car rotated. You can hear the wheel spin on the V-carb there as the V-carb drivers try and work together. Cintrix doing well.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
To hold on to the lead pack.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack. No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack. No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
If you keep donating one bets, I'm going to have to mute this.
No heroics into Sandoval,
Nis
please.
in
We're amongst
early.
the pack.
Nis has gone in here on lap 10. And Trixie now has lost DRS potentially to Cookie. But is Nis going for the 2-stop? I believe so. As Stephen Beecham picks up a 3-second time penalty. This may start the pit stop phases. As Nis, where will he exit? Will he exit in traffic here? Codzilla round turn 1. We'll see Nis exit just up the road as he exits just behind Stephen Beecham. Will that traffic cost the Alpine driver any as Stephen lets him through? Stephen carrying some damage on the front end of that Ferrari. Thank you for the follow, Diaz Placard. What? As Stephen just letting through Codzilla as well. Echo carrying some damage here. Ollie Bean gets through on Gordon. Lovely move there from Ollie Bean. As Gordon going to try around the outside again of the Tier 2 driver. Gordon goes wide though and spins the rears. And Gordon yet again. Off the track he goes, and Gordon not having an ideal race here at all. But Nis has committed to the 2-stop. Hemi Dimes committing to the 2-stop. Cookie staying out, maybe looking to 1-stop as he makes a little error through turn 1, but he has pulled the gap to Trixie as there's multiple drivers out there 1-stopping, but what will be more effective we will see. As I believe that is Julian. Julian says Get an Xbox didn't leave any space on the outside, and we did see the tail end of that incident. But Julian, you can report that to the stewards, and the stewards will deal with that incident. We already know Get on Xbox will receive a 20-second time penalty for resetting the track. So he already will have a penalty, but whether or not he'll have a penalty for the incident itself, we will wait and see. But Nis now through on tie clear Echo's still out there with the damage. Surprised to not see him two-stop to get a front wing on his car. Unfortunately for Echo, he's missing a large majority of the right end of that front wing. As Hemi now going to look on the rear
No heroics into
of the
Sandoval,
McLaren.
please. We're in amongst the pack.
And Hemi sends Echo deep, and Echo's out of the race at the hairpin, and it's going to be a full safety car, and that is going to help the drivers up at the front. Oh my god, that is so loud. Well, the drivers up at the front, the top 4 that haven't pit yet, are going to be absolutely loving life because they're straight onto their hard stint. Ness is going to be a bit angry because that's going to screw him slightly. But the Max Super Max sound alert is, dearie me, it's so loud. Cookie, Trixie, Rio, Michael Louis, all going to be buzzing with that safety car timing because they should be able to manage hard to the end. Meanwhile, Ness and Hemi, they're going to have to do a bit more management on their stint. As MB in the chat says GG's to the guys who went for the safety car, and they were just one-stopping. The safety car was realistically gifted to them. Cintrix, I'm glad Cintrix has stayed out because he now has been given the opportunity to unlap himself. Great to see Cintrix using his smarts to stay out there, get himself unlapped, and he'll now be able to get caught up to the pack again. Lovely to see. And this is why you stay in the race, gents, because you never know when a safety car can gift you an opportunity. Nis back into the pit lane, possibly for another set of hards. Will that cost him track position, though, is the question. He'll definitely lose track position to the likes of Michael Louis and get on Xbox, but will he lose any more positions? Maybe even TJ. We'll see TJ try and race him to turn 1. Yes, TJ gets out ahead of Nis, and TJ may look to hold up Nis here in order to help Rio, but TJ actually misses the exit, so TJ will stay behind Nis. Get on Xbox out ahead of Nis. Hemi Dimes onto another set of hards, similar to what we've seen with Nis. The same sort of strategy as Codzilla out on a fresh set of hards. Surprising not to see Stephen Beecham in for hards. He's gone mediums. Stephen, if you're listening to the stream, I would just go hards now. I know you're going to lose some track position, but honestly, doing a 2-stop from here I don't think will be effective at this stage. And you're absolutely welcome, Cintrix. We glaze to the utmost here. Now, Cintrix, if you're listening, if you have another set of hards, box to use them, as Echo's left this session. Unfortunately, Echo out of the race after going deep at the hairpin. And no, me Bomba is not an alert, Nuki, unfortunately. No alerts for me Bomba. But I'd have to say, some brilliant news. Again, I'll not lose the controller because for whatever reason it just doesn't like connecting. Some brilliant signings this season. Trixie up in P2 for VCarb. Get on Xbox for Red Bull in P5. Michael Louis and Gordon have moved to Cyber.
Hammond! You moron!
Centric says we're going to try a medium stint at the end. This is why we do. This is why we use the harder tire allocation, because the drivers who are on hards now will easily go to the end, and unfortunately the medium runners will be left in the dust unless there's another safety car that can gift them some position. Nuki, I will potentially give you me Bomba in the future, but we will need to. I won't be able to add that now. I'll have to add that after the stream. But intriguing to see what will happen under this safety car restart. Won't go in this lap, maybe the next lap, where Centrix has caught up to the pack. And will Cookie win from this position? Very strong position for Cookie. It has relatively stiffness, who's now 5 places behind the lead. He did try the 2-stop, but he unfortunately, that plan has been quashed by this safety car. It has leveled the playing field for many drivers out there. And now Michael Louis, currently in his best position ever in Tier 1. His best finish was P4. And could he have a sniff at the podium? We'll wait and see. Or will Get on Xbox have a great debut here? We'll see. Will Nis climb his way back up? Centric says he's expecting another safety car. And it's surprising how long it took to get that safety car, considering how much drama there was at the start. All the crashes, or all the retirements in this race have been caused by massive crashes. I mean, Julian did retire in the pit lane, but he did have a massive crash with Get on Xbox at the hairpin. So,
no heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
As Echo says, one of my worst lockups ever I've had. Unbelievable. And we did see it, unfortunately, Echo. You go wide at the hairpin, and that ultimately would cause the McLaren driver to retire from the session. Not the ideal day for McLaren so far. Centrix still in the points though, so McLaren should still score points here. But when will Cookie try and drop the hammer? Trixie's going to try and catch him at the right moment, but Cookie, when will he go? He seems to have gone now. Will Trixie have caught him at the right moment? Cookie, 6/10 is the gap. Rio seems to have been caught napping. TJ with a 3-second time penalty under the restart, and Rio already losing a bit of a gap here. Trixie still inside as Nis gets through and getting Xbox. Brilliant start for Nis there. An ideal start for Nis there off the safety car restart. Beautiful from the V-Carb driver, as Rio now outside of DRS range from Trixie. And Trixie on debut still looking at P2, but could have the win here if he can stick with Cookie and maybe try and overtake him. We will see. As Nis now on the rear of Michael Louis. Michael Louis already a second half off Rio. Rio 1.2 off Trixie. And not the ideal start for these lads. Meanwhile, Nis going to try and burn the battery and maybe look for a send on Michael Louis. But is he too far back on the Cyber driver? As the Cyber goes a little bit deep, that'll open the door to Nis now, who's surely going to get ahead before the final corner, you would think, as he's going to burn the battery and pull to the inside as Gordon picks up a 3-second time penalty. Nis does get through, and Michael Louis in the back room gets Thori in the wars. Centrix with damage. Mallard maybe in the wars as well here for Williams, as Gordon through into P12. Cookie sets the fastest lap of the race and has dropped Trixie out of DRS range, as TJ back on the rear of Get on Xbox. As Michael Louis now on the rear of Nis. As Nuki says, Ollie in the points, and Ollie's in top 10. He's strongly in the points as Hemi back on the rear of Ty Clear. And Hemi in a drag race with Ty, and Hemi wins that race into the hairpin as TJ dives it down the inside of Getting Xbox. Lovely move from TJ is in the background. Hemi dimes. Maybe had a coming together there, not quite sure what's happened. Hemi now dropping down the order and falls behind the Aston Martins, but Hemi back down the inside of Ollie Bean. As Stephen trying to get involved here, as a lot of drama here happening under the restart. Mallard through on Centrix into the final corner. Who do we even keep an eye on? I'm not quite sure. As Get on Xbox all over the rear of TJ, who made a lovely move at the hairpin. And in the background, Hemi Dimes was clipped around potentially, or maybe spun on his own. We'll have to wait and see what the stewards say after the race. But Aston Martin having a brilliant race here, with Ty Clear now on the rear of Get on Xbox. Ollie Bean reserving from Tier 2 up in P10. Meanwhile, Nis on the rear of Rio Harris as Centrix dropping down to P16. Thori getting ahead in that damage, costing the McLaren. And Centrix, if you're listening, box for mediums now. They should be able to go to the end if you manage them. You'll need to manage them hard, but you'll fix your front wing and manage the mediums and you'll be able to get to the end. That's probably your most efficient stint you can do. Meanwhile, Nis on the rear of Rio Harris and into the final corner. Nis sends it on the Mercedes and he comes out on top, and Nis through up into P3 as the battle for the podium continues on. Rio Harris on the rear of Nis, and Nis defending from the Mercedes driver and does well. Meanwhile, Ty Clear on the rear of Get on Xbox. Meanwhile, Rio Harris on the rear of Nis. But here on lap 20 of 36, this is possibly the earliest you can go from mediums to the end, and Centrix has listened to me, so he's going to try and manage the mediums. Now, Centrix, you have to purposefully manage those mediums, otherwise they will die. Just letting you know. So you need to manage them as Himi and Ty Clear battle for position here. Stephen Beecham picking up another penalty here for Ferrari. Meanwhile, Ty Clear having a very strong race in P8 will get ahead of TJ and Get on Xbox with their time penalties, and Ty putting pressure on the Red Bull here. As Hemi going to look to recover after his incident earlier. Stephen washing out wide. Gordon now in the rear of the Ferrari. Can he find a way through? We'll wait and see as Rio on the rear of Nis. And Ty involved here as well. But here on lap 21, Ledgeman says Mallard needs to do something special to add to our 12 combined points so far this weekend, and it has not been a good weekend at all for Williams. Meanwhile, Gordon and Stephen Beecham battle through the hairpin. Gordon trying to drag and a little bit of contact with the Ferrari of Gordon as he tried to plant the power down, and he's going to even look to get through on Ollie Bean into the final corner. Side by side goes Gordon and Ollie Bean. And has Gordon done it? Yes, he has. He's got the DRS open. And Ollie Bean caught out by Gordon there. Beautiful move as Hemi all over the rear of Ty Clear, trying to put some pressure on if he can manage it. Oh, and Hemi so close to the rear of the Aston, but no move available there. As Hemi now on the rear of Ty, going to switch to the inside. Dive bomb on this long left-hander. Side by side they go, and Ty lovely, keeping the traction around the outside and able to defend from the Ferrari driver. And Hemi still unable to get ahead of Ty. Hemi, who finished P2 last season in the championship, down in P9. Meanwhile, some of his rivals as Rio Harris picks up a 3-second time penalty just as we go on board with him. And Rio, who was trying to work with Nis to try and get P3 here, or try and catch the leaders, he's now picked up a 3-second time penalty, which may cost him a position here if Michael Louis can catch him. Meanwhile, Stephen Beecham in for mediums to the end. And Stephen going to be going to the end here, but he's actually got a set of hards to use, so Stephen will be able to push to the end. Meanwhile, Thorey going a bit wide on the rear of Mallard. As Hemi on the rear of Ty. And Hemi back down the inside again of Ty. But has he sent Ty a little bit deep? Has he sent the dummy on the Aston Martin driver? The Ferrari desperate for the move here. But can he get close enough to the Aston Martin driver? Will he go for a send in the hairpin? Oh, he's locked the rears and Hemi's around. The Ferrari driver around. Locking the rears into the hairpin. Just And he gets a 10-second penalty that will be removed if there is no more safety cars in the race. Because that was not intentional. Let's get on Xbox now, in for his final pit stop. Himmy Dimes, very annoyed, I believe, and into the pit lane he's going to go, and maybe retiring is the Ferrari driver, which is a disappointing end to the race for the Ferrari. Hopefully he doesn't retire, but he has, as Hemi. Unfortunately for Ferrari, they will be scoring a lot of points here today. Scored big points in Tier 3, got a 1-2 in Tier 3, but unfortunately in Tier 1, Hemi's retired and Stephen Beecham down in P14 on fresh hards, though what can he do? We'll wait and see. As Cookie picks up a 3-second time penalty through the hairpin. Could that give some impetus to Trixie to pick up his first win here? We will wait and see. Rio also wants to get involved in this battle. We got Thori on the rear of Mallard. Thori round the outside of Mallard as Mallard defends into the hairpin. Thori going to try and get the exit here if he can. As Rio's actually got ahead of Nis. Nis at turn 1. But I'm sure they're not too worried as Thori and Mallard still battling for position. Mallard doing well to defend here. P11. Which would be the most points that Williams have scored, I think, this season so far in the overall Constructors' Championship. And he's looking good while he's doing it, Mallard, in that lovely Gulf livery. But Trixie has dropped out of that 3-second threshold. Does he have the pace to catch Cookie? We will wait and see. Cookie just seems to have the edge. Pulled the gap to 3 seconds now. As Nis on the rear of Rio Harris, and Rio gonna pull the undercut and going to look for the 2-stop. We will see how effective this is. Rio will lose multiple positions through doing the 2-stop, but can he win back the podium through the potential pace that he'll have on the hards? As Northey says, highest Williams finish has been P11 in Tier 3. And Mallard's looking to equal that as he comes into the box. Get on Xbox, staying out. Rio now into P9 as he exits the pit lane. Will he get all the way up to Michael Louis, though? That's the real question. He, at the very least, wants to get back up into P4. And he even wants to try and use this to get onto the podium if he can. Will it be effective? We will wait and see. But Rio has pulled the undercut, and we'll see. Does anyone follow him in, or is everyone going to try and extend? We will wait and see. As something disconnected from my PC. That was a weird noise. I'm not quite sure what it was. Hopefully nothing important. As Thori and Mallard exit on the mediums. Cintrix out on 6-lap-old mediums. As Ledgeman says to retire, as TJ comes in off the hard tyres, and maybe just the tyre wear too high for some of the drivers out there, which is why they've gone to the hards. And if the likes of Michael Louis can manage the hards to the end here, it could be a brilliant result for Sauber. Gordon also out there. He's had a torrid race, but has found himself up in P6. Now, Rio isn't too far behind, so I assume Rio will inevitably get back up there, but still, Sauber have had a brilliant drive here today. Despite how badly it had gone for Gordon at the start, he has found himself up high in the points. But I assume Rio will be rapid and try and get through an ollie beat as early as he can, and dives it through at the left-hander. And the Mercedes already cutting his way through. And with the arrest, oh, and Gordon goes very deep. Oh, Gordon's so deep. As he rejoins the track, Rio going to try and get back through on Gordon as Gordon makes a big mistake at the hairpin. And Rio going to look to make a move on Gordon in the Sauber, but a big mistake there from the Sauber at the hairpin as Rio flying through the final corner. And now with DRS, can he pull to turn 1 and get through on Gordon as Gordon Is he going to try and fight it out? No, Rio gets ahead, and Gordon has no answer on these 16-lap-old hards in comparison to the 2-lap-old hards of Rio Harris. And now Rio is only around roughly 10 seconds off Michael Lloyd, but he does have that 3-second time penalty. So we'll have to wait and see. As in the background, Ollie Bean leaving the track, but up in P8 having a very good drive is Ollie Bean. As Ledgeman says, might have to promote Page to co-team principal. But Rio making some good inroads on this hard stint, his final stint. But can he get Nis by the end of this race? That is a big question. But he has some good pace here after pitting. As Rio now Three seconds off Ty. I assume should catch Ty. Can he get ahead with DRS and pull that 3-second margin? We will see. Michael Louis, though, picking up a 3-second time penalty. In a place in the track you really don't want to be making that mistake. And that could give a lot of impetus to Rio Harris to get back up in to P4. That was really the only advantage that Michael had, was not having that penalty. And now that he's lost that advantage, Rio could be looking comfortably back into P4 again by the end of the race here. Meanwhile, the V-Carbs just seem to be managing their race out in front, trying their best to catch Cookie. They would love a late safety car, because that would mean that 3-second time penalty could cost Cookie massively in this race. As down in the battle here, TJ's got ahead of Codzilla, and Codzilla, no penalties for Codzilla, but out there in 11 or 15 lap old hards in P11. So Codzilla picking up some vital points here for Alpine in Tier 1, as they're yet to find a full-time driver to pair Thori in this tier. Meanwhile, Rio on the rear of Ty Clear, and this is going to be an easy move, I would say. As Ledgeman says, Cookie trying to earn those 5 gifted subs for WHF as Ty, he's squeezing Rio to the outside. And Rio going to try and get the switch back and make the move even before the hairpin if he can. DRS enabled for Rio and gets ahead of Ty. As Ty going to look back down the inside of the Mercedes driver, but Ty not close enough to making the move, but putting a lot of pressure on the Mercedes despite being on older tyres. But Rio now seems to have pulled that advantage now, as Ty all over the rear of Rio. And if Ty can somehow stick in DRS range from Rio, Ty could be carried up to P4, which would be his best result in WHF. So still a lot to play for here. We'll have to wait and see. We're here on lap 31. Welcome into the stream if you're just joining us. If you haven't followed yet, please do. We're 5 followers away from 1,000 followers on Twitch, and if we get 1,000 followers, I'm gonna have to do something special. I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna have to come up with an idea. Everyone, spitball in the chat. What should I do for 1,000 followers on Twitch? No one say shave my head, because it's not happening, lads. something that I'll actually do. I don't know. But TJ on the rear of Get on Xbox, 3 laps older hard tyres. As D Summer says, shave your tits. Already did this morning, mate. Sci-Fi does say, shave your head, as Mallard has a spin at the hairpin. Yellow flag out for the Williams driver, and heartbreak weekend for the Williams team, as Mallard now down to P15. As he is going to pull out of the way of Cookie. As Trixie picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that could hand Nis P2 in this race. Well, 1,000 subs is a different thing than 1,000 followers. 1,000 subs, lads. I will shave my head. Telling you right now, 1,000 subs, I'll shave my head. Currently we're on 10, so if anyone wants to donate 1,000 subs, I will shave my head on stream right now. I won't even hesitate. I have work in the morning. I wouldn't even hesitate to shave my head for 1,000 subs. 1,000 followers, however, it's a different story. As TJ round the outside of Get on Xbox at the hairpin. A little bit of contact between the Mercedes and the Red Bull, but a lovely move from TJ in the end, as the Red Bull going to try and get back through again on TJ. As TJ looking on the rear of the Aston. As, side by side they go into the final corner, and Get on Xbox sent at the final corner is Rio Harris on the rear of Michael Louis now. And he's going to look for a move on the Cybers. He's going to look round the inside, which becomes the outside of the next corner. And Rio back up into P4. And he's regained back where he'd lost, but now he's going to somehow catch 10 seconds to this to really gain any advantage. No, Ledge, man, just don't tell them that. Just say that it is. Just say that it's 1,000 subs. No one tell them how much it actually is. As Get on Xbox on the rear of Ollie Bean. As the Aston Martin driver has done very well this race. We're on the third final lap, and he's in P9, which would for certainly be his best finish in Tier 1 for damn sure. And Aston Martin will be very proud of him here. Meanwhile, Ty up in P6. Aston having a brilliant race here. Meanwhile, the Red Bull have Get on Xbox on his debut up in P10, trying to make something happen. And he's on the rear of Ollie Bean, and into turn 1 they go. And if I'm Ollie Bean, I'm just backing out of this move. He just needs to manage his strategy to the end, but he goes for a lovely switchback on Get on Xbox, but goes wide. And so does Get on Xbox, losing the rear. Ollie Bean going to keep ahead here through the middle sector. And can Get on Xbox make the move through the title middle sector? Does Ollie Bean really need to fight this? Maybe he thinks so. But on 21 lap old hards, very impressive driving from the Aston Martin of Ollie Bean. Really showing some stuff here in Tier 1. But will Get on Xbox now with DRS into the hairpin finally make this move happen. As Ollie Bean flashing into the hairpin, but Get on Xbox now going to look for the exit out of the hairpin as he picks up another time penalty, and maybe that's all Ollie Bean needed as Beecham gets ahead of Codzilla now, as Codzilla down to P12 but still be scoring for Alpine as Get on Xbox on the outside. Yellow flag out, not quite sure who that is as Get on Xbox gets through on Ollie Bean. That may have been Thory, I believe. I think Thory dropping down there as Get on Xbox gets through on Ollie Bean, but Ollie Bean may be able to stick with Get on Xbox here in the penalty threshold, with him picking up another 3-second time penalty there as Gordon pulls out of the way of TJ, just lets him through. That's a bit surprising. But Gordon doesn't want to battle this for this position too hard. I'm not quite sure. We're here in the penultimate lap, so why wouldn't you fight for every position? We've seen Ollie Bean may be the benefactor from it because he give Get on Xbox another time penalty, which could cost him in the end, but can Get on Xbox pull the penalty threshold by the end of the race? We'll wait and see. As Gordon's made a mistake. Has Gordon potentially got a puncture here? Not quite sure what is happening with Gordon here. Maybe a mistake out of one of the corners. Not quite sure. His tires may be cooked as the Red Bull now up into P8 as Ollie Bean may be looking for another position on the rear of Gordon if he has kept his tyres together well enough. As we've started the final lap with Cookie, he's almost towards the end as TJ picks him another 3-second time penalty. Could that cost him a position to one of the cars behind? We'll wait and see. But we're going to go on board with Cookie, who has yet again managed the race beautifully. And Cookie is a 6-time champion in this league for a reason. And as he's about to round the final corner, the Red Bull driver here in Austria reversed as he comes up to the line. The Red Bull driver will win again here in Austria as Cookie returns to the top step of the podium. Meanwhile, Trixie on debut, beautiful debut for RB as Trixie will join the podium along this, who will jump ahead of him into P2. Rio Harris into P4. Not sure if he got the fastest lap or not. Meanwhile, Michael Louis in P5. Ty Clear in P6. Beautiful result there for Aston Martin, as TJ in behind in P7. Centrix actually gets out of Mallard in the end there, as Get on Xbox into P8, but will he lose positions due to time penalties? We will see, as Holly Bean actually had way more time penalties than we thought he did. So did Gordon, as Stephen Beecham crosses the line, gets out of Ollie Bean, and again, Ollie Bean, why do you curse yourself with all these track limit penalties? As Godzilla was 3 thousandths off Ollie Bean with all his track limit penalties. Deary me, that was close. Ollie Bean though, P11 from the Tier 2 reserve. Godzilla P12 from another Tier 2 reserve. Brilliant drives from them two drivers. But Cookie wins again here in Austria. An absolutely beautiful drive for the Red Bull driver. But there you have it.
I am stupid.
It's an all...
I am stupid.
It is an all Red Bull podium. It is Red Bull versus RB. And that seems to be the way it's going to go this season, as we're communicating with online servers, huh? Driver of the day looks to be TJ. Fastest lap goes to Cookie. Most overtakes goes to Ty Clear, I think. I love how it doesn't tell us. But we will need to get the results in, because the app doesn't see Austria reversed or any other reverse tracks. Please go away. Please stop communicating with online servers. Right, we've got the results. Hopefully we can get the race director in, otherwise it may communicate with online servers again. Yay, we got the race director in. Thankfully, it was needed, but another win for Cookie. P2 for Nis, and Trixie on debut here in WHF in P3. But Nis has joined us for some interviews. Nis, how'd that race go for you?
Where do you start? Qualifying very good. Race less good. Potentially fucked over by the safety car. That safety car really fucked me over. So yeah, nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate timing. We seen you had already done 2 laps on the hards before before it did come out, but still in the end it is a double podium for VCarb. Trixie seems to be a brilliant signing for VCarb, which will definitely help in the overall Constructors' Championship. But as we head next to Singapore, is that one of your favourite tracks?
No, definitely not. Oh, don't like it at all.
Well, hopefully next time out you still have a decent race. We're looking forward to seeing it. Meanwhile, we'll move on to Cookie, the man of the hour and the man of the day yet again here. Cookie wins in Austria reverse. Cookie, how'd that race go for you?
Oh, sorry, my mic was off. Hi. It was good. I feel like that's a really fun track. I've never driven it before today. Then I jumped on like an hour before the race started to just run some laps. That was super fun once you get the rhythm of it. I was like, initially I was like, what the fuck are you doing having this be round 1? But it's a good one. Yeah, I don't know, it was just fun. And I think the other VCarb, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I think
Trixie?
he had a bad lap. Yeah. He had a bad lap 1 after the safety car, and I got out of DRS, and yeah, just kind of sailed to the end. My tire wear was pretty bad, actually. I was at the mid 80s by the end, but
were you thinking of 2-stopping before the safety car out, or are you always committing to the 1-stop?
Just because I was gonna 2-stop, but I actually don't know what's quicker around here. I think I was gonna, when I saw Nasev pit so early, I think he's the only one who could have kept in DRS with me. I was gonna just extend and do something different.
Mm-hmm.
But then the safety car kind of put him in the cuck chair today. So yeah, but yeah, that was fun. I'm surprised that I was really surprised at quali. It's a closer grid this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting battles throughout the whole season, I assume. But as we head to Singapore next, is that one of your favorite tracks?
That is probably my slowest track on the entire calendar. So I have literally never gotten in a top 5 there, like ever on this game, and I've done like 5 or 6 races there.
So what you're telling us is you literally are Max Verstappen.
I wish I have the results. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Singapore lap times, but I did a 27.9 in qualifying last time I was here. I don't know how far off. I was like a second off pole, so it's just not a good track for pad. But we'll see. I'll just try to get a podium or whatever.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how well you do next week. We've heard a couple drivers, most notably Rio Haas, punch in the air hearing that Singapore is not one of your favourite tracks, because I know for a fact that it is Rio's best track. Rio, you did have a decent race there. Unfortunately, didn't pan out with the 2-stop. I think the penalty was ultimately what cost you potentially fighting for the podium. But how'd that race go for you nonetheless?
Yeah, it's just boring. It's a horrible track for racing, but I mean, I surprised myself in qualifying. I got a PB, but then I was also upset it was only 4th. I mean, then race pace was actually fast, considering to what I was expecting. But then I wasn't expecting the podium, so I can't really complain.
Well, it was still a very good race, P4 for yourself, and also as we head to Singapore, we know it's one of your favourite tracks. Could we see a win there?
Well, that's always the aim. I mean, it's my best track by a country mile. You know my nickname. I'm a Singapore merchant, so
well,
you can only see.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that, Rio, as we head there next time out. Next, we'll move on to Ollie Bean, who got P11 here in Tier 1, which is very good for the driver reserving from Tier 2. Ollie Bean, how'd your race go?
I was just out there having fun. I just wanted to see if I could keep up, basically, and I think I did all right, considering it's not the tier I'm supposed to be in. So, yeah, all in all, I had some fun battles as well, and yeah, it was. I was out there, just having fun. It was great. I really enjoyed myself. So, yeah.
Well, that is what the league's aim is. That is why we are called We Have Fun, Have Fun. Glad you had a good time. But I'm going to give you a bit of advice for future. Please stop doing track limits. You could have.
I had never driven a lap on that track, so 12 seconds of pens is actually good for me.
Yeah.
Let him be. He was in the top 10. Let him be. Let him cook.
I know, but I'm like, genuinely.
He was ahead of me. He was ahead of me at one point.
I know, but this is the thing with Ollie Bean, is he has so much potential, but always track limits. It's never the actual driving that holds you back. It's just track limits.
Ollie, just drive 50% off the pace, so you make sure you don't touch a curb, right? Just completely centre of the road, sorted. There you go, sorted.
Well, I've got no track limit pens yesterday, so
yeah,
I'm getting better at it. But
honestly, certain drivers I have advice for, where there's certain areas they need to improve in, and I'm like, the only advice I have for you is track limits, and that will your results will skyrocket after that. But
I've got advice for you.
There's a bucket list of advice for my racing, so let's not start.
Oh wait, no, there's one thing for you.
Anyway, moving on, we're gonna raid Concept 7 on our way out. Thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, this has been WHF Tier 1 Round 1. Cookie wins again. Love, death, and Cookie winning. What else is new? But make sure to give us a follow. Give Concept 7 a follow on your way out. We're 5 followers away from 1,000 followers on Twitch, so please follow if you can. But thank you all for watching. I've been WHFR, and we'll see you next week as Tier 3 heads to Spain, Tier 2 heads to Silverstone, and Tier 1 heads to Singapore. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye.
Fuck this track, man.